just come in whenever you want and set it up.
We're live.
All right, good. We're here at SportsStreamNetwork.com. Kind of a casual beginning of the program today. Jeff DeForest with you. And with you until about 12 o'clock as we are every Monday through Friday here on SportsStreamNetwork.com. We are working on a way, although I don't know if we're going to incorporate this into the show today, to have you be able to phone in on the program and ask questions of me and or Jersey Kyle, who will be along in time as well, as they say, in Thoroughbred Racing. A wild day in sports all around. We're getting closer and closer to the football season. And I know a lot of people, and this is going to be great, and I'm sure we'll have this on SportsStreamNetwork.com as well. We'll have some kind of segment of our Degenerate Fridays that we're doing on the radio, where we're going to have assembled just a legendary lineup of handicappers and sports experts, including Stu Feiner. You might remember this guy from, he wasn't actually on Proline. I've been mistaken about this for a long time. He wasn't on the Proline show. He was on, and I was with Jim Feist, who's going to be a part of our big festivities on Degenerate Friday also. But Stu Feiner was the guy who was on a thing called The Source with Stu Feiner that immediately followed the Proline on USA Network. For the younger people that are watching, you're saying, what the blank is this guy talking about here, Proline? But before you had a zillion cable channels, you had USA Network, and this was the very beginning of the expansion of sports on TV as an entity. Now you have 500 channels, and it's gotten to the point where it's so desperate they're even putting radio shows on TV. And you can watch Mike Francesa fall asleep on camera, or Mike and Mike shilling for everything that ESPN endorses, including, I mean, what a disgrace when they had to, they're still talking about the Subway First Take, Fresh Take hotline, and there's a picture in the background of Jared, eyeballing some little kids at a middle school, and you're thinking, I don't know that this is really the appropriate time to be embracing this product right now. Although, the company itself obviously had very little or nothing to do with this. I would imagine they had no knowledge of this and were equally blindsided as the rest of the general public. That was a weird story too, wasn't it, right? The guy loses 200 pounds eating sandwiches. Imagine that. I've been eating sandwiches for the last couple of days, and I haven't lost an ounce. In fact, I put on 3. But somehow, if we were, to believe it, this guy was like 500 pounds, and apparently a 500-pound pervert. So he dropped down to about, I guess he went from 400 to maybe a deuce. And all the while he was eyeballing little girls with bad intent. Just an ugly situation for these guys. But if you look at it overall, this whole business is based on what? Gambling, the sports business. And we're going to have some of the finest handicappers. Feiner was on the Proline show, and that was on USA Network before they had all kinds of wild programming that you could see where, like I said, you have 400 sports channels today, including this one. They would come on a Saturday morning and, give out tout information on games. They would give you one freebie, and then they'd tell you to call their hotline. And if you call the hotline, you got the rest of the season free if you happen to lose a game. That was my favorite guarantee ever in anything. You can have Ron Popeil and anybody that ever, was involved, the Flex Seal guy that we talk about all the time. Look at this guy. He's doing some kind of lighting in here while I'm babbling away. The great Jersey Kyle Martinez. But it would be better if he was on the show, I would have to say. But getting back to the point, Degenerate Friday, and we're going to have like Stu Feiner from Proline fame, or The Source with Stu Feiner. That was a guy who looked like he slept in the trunk of his car. He actually looked like a public defender walking in. And he would tell you, we might have lost that one with the Giants, but Friday night, I'm going out of my mind. I'm going to have every winner for you. You're going to love it. I never lose. And then he would proceed to give you whatever games, and he would tell you that if you did lose one, the rest of the season was free, which was my favorite guarantee of all time. So we're going to have that for you on Fridays. We'll put it up here on SportsStreamNetwork.com because we're working on a lot of new innovations on the show. Jim Feist going to be part of it. He was the guy that was behind Proline. Also going to have Chip Chirimbus, who was on that show. The great Mark Lawrence, the ultimate trend handicapper. This is a guy that doesn't matter what the game is, he'll come up with something that was completely out of the ordinary. And say, you know what, on a Wednesday after there was a full moon following a total eclipse of the sun, the St. Louis Rams are 2-0 against the spread and 1-1 straight up in games where their quarterback has been injured before the second quarter, where they also had to start a running back that came from Kinshasa, Zaire. I'm like, really? They're 2-0 in that spot. That's pretty incredible. And he's great, though, with these trends, and comes up with just magnificent stuff, both colleges and the pros. So Mark Lawrence is going to be a part of this big handicapping venture that we're on Fridays as well. My friend Scotty Matthews, as he goes by in the trade, dynamite, picking 60% winners documented for over 10 years, maybe even higher than that. But that's enough to get you by the juice, which is all that you have to do in life, is find a way to beat the juice. If you can handle the juice, you're going to go ahead and live a good life. So a lot of good things we're looking forward to doing here on the show, including bringing on, and he's now the lighting director for the program, which is fantastic.
Bullshit, if you ask me. I mean, I'm out there sweating like a dog.
You look good, though. You know what? You look good.
Yeah, I look like shit.
You're like the technical advisor now to the entire network here. It's incredible.
They're smoking dope in the parking lot, drinking. I mean, acting like a bunch of assholes.
Wipe the schwitz. You're okay. You just wipe the schwitz.
I'm dying over here.
So what'd you do, man? You blocked out the lighting?
I tried to block it out because I hate that backlight. But anyway, it didn't work.
All right. We were talking a little bit about what we're going to be doing on Degenerate Fridays here on the program. And
that's a show.
One of the innovations that is being brought along by the Sportstream Network people is we're going to be able to take these excerpts from other sources and run them here on the show. Well, we're going to work that out. And so we may have our handicappers at least documented their picks on Sportstream Network, and you'll get that information right here.
That'd be great.
Where you're watching us right now, which will be a lot of fun. I was trying to describe Stu Feiner to the people. Now, you can find his videos. I think it's stufeiner.com.
Well, the guy's great, right?
Is he sensational? And this is the incredible thing. I didn't realize it. 6-1 in the last 7 games. This is legitimate. It surprised me because I don't even bother keeping track. I did happen to realize that he was 3-0 2 weeks ago, preseason NFL football.
Right.
Which, as we've been talking about, he claims, who is the most maniacal, lunatic, fringe, degenerate gambler you've ever known? Is it the Leaper who appeared on this show at one time? Or there has to be in your your history, somebody that was just so sick. Kind of like the former Rabbi Larry Fine, who told his life story, the story of his extradition. Who would be the sickest of the sick that you've known? Is it the Madman? George the Animal Steel?
I mean, probably the world-famous guy that I knew was the Mixter.
The Mixter, yeah. I mean, he's a big fan of the show, by the way. Jory tells me, yeah.
Well, he's psychotic, number one, And
I had 40,000 on a roulette wheel.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy would win, what?
And they took all my money and said no more bets, and I would have hit.
I mean, the guy would come up, the race would be going off. They'd be coming down the stretch. He'd be screaming like a maniac.
For the 5.
Yeah.
And then the 6 would pop ahead in front and go, 6!
And then he
would switch horses in the middle of the stretch.
And then he would look at his tickets and he'd say, I got boned.
He bet the wrong track.
He bet the wrong track, the wrong words. I mean, the guy was insane. I mean, it's all about maniacal. But he had great scores.
But I don't know that he was the sickest of the sick.
Well, he was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Who do you think? How about Dino?
Oh, yeah, no, that's sickness personified. But that's fueled by large amounts of alcohol.
That's true.
Which, I don't know, does that take you out of the category of being the sickest of the sick degenerates? I would imagine most of us have gotten to this point fueled by massive consumption of alcohol during the course of our lifetime.
Well, a lot of people
is there something in the brain that gets modified somehow when you become a sick, degenerate gambler?
Well, that's what you kind of meant, that I mean, there's sickness right there. Here he is putting his bets on.
Yes.
On a side phone.
You know that's all Jory is doing. He pretends like he's sending out emails to the general.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is he's in touch with his sports book in, Costa Rica somewhere. Some guy in the jungles. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, they weren't even oriented towards, doing any kind of degenerate activity. By the way, you couldn't find another Coke bottle with Kyle on it?
I just wondered, do we know anybody named Peter? Or maybe that's like a code. Does St. Petersburg have a football team we can bet on? I mean, I don't know what that.
Possibly. Who was that guy? Chris Peter or whatever? The guy, the maniac guy that was in all kinds of trouble at Nebraska, and then he became a lineman, I think, for the Patriots. He did pretty well. Peter something. There was a Peter in his name somewhere. Petered out, I guess it is. All right, so have you ever had somebody...
to the sickness of Stu. I mean, this guy, insane, in his approach.
Stu Feiner, yes.
Insane.
I love this game.
I mean, his head's ready to blow up.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see.
The
He's like a
veins
giant
are like
ready to
popping
pop.
out of his head. But yeah, the finer man. It gave out 3 screaming picks 2 weeks ago.
3-team parlay. Loved them all.
Loved every one of them, screaming at the top of his lungs.
And hit them.
All 3 won.
How great is that? And then the following week, he comes back equally strongly, and you're thinking, all right, so guy goes 3-0, what happens? It's a burial. I mean, you've been through this many times in your life.
And he goes 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 in preseason NFL football, under the premise that this is a license to print money, and so far for him it is. It's like you and the slot machines.
This is going to be the only guy that's going to be sad to see the preseason go. I mean, he's
'cause
raking in.
Yeah, it's real games. But what do you do this week? I mean, you have to be borderline criminally insane to go ahead and bet on the 4th week of preseason games in the National Football League when they're outright telling you they flat out don't care. Nobody cares about what the result is going to be.
But I'm sure, Stu's going to find something, in there that he feels.
Whose scrubs are better than the other team's scrubs?
Maybe he's got a scrub report, the worst of the best of the worst.
Yeah, no, you know what? You really blew that whole, beginning segment there, because the sickest of the sick is one of your good friends for a long period of time.
Yes.
The Scotsman.
The Scotsman is a little out
when
there.
He was screaming, remember that? I mean, we were watching the opening game of the Jets in some pizza parlor.
Yes.
And the guy starts screaming with about 4 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yes.
And he's screaming, "No points! No points! No points!"
Oh, he needed the goose egg or something?
He needed like a 0 in the first quarter, and they were hovering. It was torture to watch this, because now that we knew the depravity, the level of depravity of your buddy.
And a field goal would have killed it.
Right, and he needed like a series of fluke events, like he was betting highlight.
Yes.
To come out of this thing with a victory, and somehow he held on and won.
Yes, he did hold on. And
they were at the 1, and they called a timeout, and then they got penalized, and then they decided to go for it. I mean, just a series of bizarre, never happen again events, and he ended up with the number he needed. But you're thinking, really? You bet the first quarter that there would be less than 3 points?
I mean, and the average guy doesn't even realize that there are these bets to be made on the computer or wherever.
Who even knew, yeah.
Right, wherever you find these kind of wagers available to you or to the public. I mean, I don't even know they exist. Now, I know Super Bowl comes around. They got a lot of crazy props. You came up with,
the best one ever. It was the best inside information I've ever had.
The opening song.
Yeah, who was the singer that was performing at halftime of the... pop singer.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Look at that.
So out of nowhere...
I'm shocked that I came up with anything.
That's pretty good. Well, you have a young daughter, that probably listens to a little Katy Perry there and thinks she's great.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I remember, the Super Bowl, obviously, last year was one of the greatest Super Bowls I felt of
Tremendous,
all time.
yeah.
I mean, for action. But
no doubt about it, yeah. But I get a call from a guy, a local disc jockey here in South Florida, who's sort of retired for a long time. He cashed in big. He got a bunch of Clear Channel stock.
Yes.
It was worth like $200 a share. He got it for 5 cents, and he made himself a nice retirement-size score. But and he bets pretty big. I didn't realize he was such a degenerate gambler.
Right.
But this is something that really is sick, and I don't know that you've ever done this, but have you ever kept track of all of your wagers for a year? And realize, okay, so I was stuck 50,000 or whatever.
No, but there's guys that do that. I mean,
this
there's
is what
guys
he does.
that basically they do. They calculate every bet they made. My buddy Tommy, the accountant, who bets quite a bit of money.
Yes. He calculates everything.
He knows what he won and lost.
Isn't
at the
that
end
too
of the year.
painful? I mean,
he's an accountant. I mean, that's his life.
But who would want to know? I mean, who would want to know that
he doesn't calculate my money? I mean,
you yielded hundreds of thousands of dollars in your lifetime to some sickness,
and he likes knowing the number.
Oh, God. This is my one religious theory. And, I'm not a real religious guy. I mean, I had a bar mitzvah, and that was the last time I saw anything,
yes,
that was even slightly symbolic or emblematic of being a religious observer, other than the prayers you hear us go into at various sporting events.
Right.
Anyway, the whole idea that you could come out on top in these propositions is crazy. But I was horrified. I thought, well, geez, the worst thing that could happen, my worst nightmare, would be if right before you checked out, wherever you were going, whether it was purgatory, hell, or the big casino in the sky, if your last dying breath, as you took it, as you sucked in the air and it was not coming back out, you saw the number, the amount of money that you lost in your lifetime came up in big, like Broadway type lights.
Right.
And that's why people die with their mouths open. It's just like, ah! Right? Can you imagine? I mean, if that number flashed before you and it was the last thing you saw before you checked out,
No, that wouldn't be a good thing. But
you would
yeah,
be
but
sick. You would need more than a priest hovering over you as some.
well, maybe that's why it's good for these guys. They know the number already. I mean, they know where they're at. To date. And
But that would dissuade you and convince you that you probably should stop this activity sooner than later, right? I mean, if you were eating massive amounts of chocolate and you put on 100 pounds, you would eventually say, well, maybe I ought to change this. Change this up a little bit.
Obviously, you don't know human nature. I mean, Chuck Wepner.
Yes, well, he was a great bet, right? Did he go 15 with Ali? Get out of here.
He's been beaten to death in probably 90% of his fights, but he still continued to get back in the ring. I mean, you would think after, several stints in the hospital and 400...
This guy was born with a broken nose. What are you talking
400 stitches to the face.
They took the forceps out of the, when he was in the womb. He said, hey, look at that. It looks a little busted there.
Yeah, he was already...
Let's name him the Bayonne Bleeder. I think his parents named him that.
No. I think they named him Charles, but that's okay. But no, I know what you're saying. But I mean, when you get to the sickness, the crazies out there. I mean, I'd have to rank Stu Feiner up there with the.
Finer's nuts, man. But he's lived. Did you read his book by any chance? I got to give you a copy of this thing. It's a fairly easy read. I mean, it's
like
sort of written like a Dick, Jane, and Sally reader.
Yeah, that's good for me.
Look, oh look, see the bookmaker. Is that a bone breaker behind him?
Yes. Yeah.
That's how our readers were in the what was that first grade reading when they had the big letters. It looked like the big E on the eye chart. And every sentence started with look, oh look, see Scott, see Scott run.
Yeah.
Scott sees Sally. Scott likes Sally. What sicko was writing that stuff, right? I mean,
Sunday is now known as Fun Day. A lot of people, using Sunday as a big party day before going back, but. Monday was always run day, when you had to run away from the bookie, on Monday because the number was coming out. Now, some guys would allow you to bet Monday night's game and continue it on to the week, or did Monday night start a new week for you? How did that? How does that work with our fellow over there, your good friend?
What's that now?
When you're betting now, Friday, does Sunday end the week?
Yeah, you would think Sunday would end the week, and Monday is the graveyard meeting.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Why is it always a graveyard, though, where you have to meet the guy?
That's where you meet your guy.
10 a.m. graveyard.
Yeah.
I'll be there, right? And the Pompano Cemetery, they think I'm bringing flowers to my deceased father every Monday. I'm actually and I'm really just giving the 4 sticks that I owe.
Meanwhile, you're meeting Lipschitz in the cemetery.
And Lipschitz, you can never get a hold of him when you need him for something, except he's always right there.
Like
on
that
time.
Second half bet when you're down and you need to get
exactly. Yeah, you were about to hit some 20-1 shot at Belmont.
Right.
Lipschitz is never there to answer the phone. You get a machine. Larry's not home right now.
Well, he knows when you're due. Probably he probably has a chart on you at his house. And he says, DeForest is calling. He can see the caller ID. I mean, he knows it's you calling. He says, no, he's ready. He's due for a big one. I'm out here. There goes.
Well, because he knows you just lost 17 in a row. I mean, it's the old Vetus Garolitis thing. Nobody beats Vetus Garolitis 18 times in a row.
It's about time you hit one, right? I mean,
somewhere I'm due. I don't know. I'm very tepid about the NFL anyway. I don't know that anybody in their right mind can go into NFL wagering with any real level of confidence.
No.
You'll throw your money on the Jets just out of allegiance. But you don't really believe they're going to win any of these games, do you?
No.
Oh, you actually do. You convince yourself.
Well, I mean, I know sometimes when I think they're going to win, I feel like, a big upset coming up, and
they are going to win some games, right? So to bet against them every time.
Any given Sunday, my friend.
Yeah, and against the spread, too. You factor in the points. They're going to get a lot of points this year, no? Because people aren't expecting much from these guys. And meanwhile, maybe lost on the general public out there. Can't Revis make some kind of difference for this team?
I don't know. I mean, you would hope so. I mean, Jet fans really don't have much to get excited about except, that big win last year at the end of the year against Miami. But other than that, it was really a bad season. I think they had 3 wins going into that game. So I don't see the Jets really, I don't know that they've done that much in the offseason that they're going to make a big change. I don't see them going to the playoffs.
I got distracted when you were talking before just because this email popped up on my computer here.
Yes.
And then look at the title. It's to the program director at a major radio station.
Yes.
Under the heading of Beat the Leaper, which you would think you could beat this guy like a drum all season long. Is he any good at football handicapping? Larry the Leaper, who would have to qualify. I mean, if you're talking the sickest of the sick, Well, what about the time he took the money from the restaurant receipts, which you didn't cash out? He's waiting tables at the Gulfstream Park restaurant.
Well, a classic story. The great Larry the Leaper, who
Yes.
I heard he gave out a couple games today on the air on your radio show.
He called up on a radio show. He was relatively coherent today by Leaper standards, which
Yes.
is always a little frightening. But I would have to imagine that he gave out just stone, gargled with milk of magnesia chalk in his two picks, because he'll call in and give out like Kershaw and Bumgarner, and then they both lose.
Yeah. No,
And you're thinking these are guys that never lose, so of course they're cursed there. But this. Just to get an email from a program director at any radio station, entitled "Beat the Leaper,"
Right.
is a little bit frightening, and it was enough to set me back for a second.
Is there something in question about the contest of Beat the Leaper? I mean, is there a...
Well, I mean, there's always red tape. You can't ever do anything simply when you're talking about any kind of major media company.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden, I mean, if they do a background check on the Leaper, the contest is over, right?
The fact that
That's become the biggest threat to you, me, and any of our friends.
The fact that he's been sleeping in his car for the last couple of weeks due to his wife throwing him out of the house. And again, special thanks to the boys down at Deal Volkswagen who actually converted his back seat into a fold-out bed.
If you buy a Deal Volkswagen right now,
Yes.
and that's a Miami dealership, but you can go online and buy a Volkswagen through them, and they'll deliver the car anywhere, I would imagine, like most of these dealerships do.
Right.
But you now get a pound of Steele's fudge.
Yes, along with
the
any
lease or purchase of any
new Volkswagen.
Deal Volkswagen.
Yeah, Volkswagen Scirocco or whatever they're.
Yeah, you go in there,
the Jetta.
tell them we sent you, and then be able to prove that with a clip from the video.
Yes, yeah.
We're doing it on SportsStreamNetwork.com. I also have Jory's passport and a picture of Todd and his kids, and
just mention the Leaper. Beat the
you
Leaper.
have to buy a car for all cash to qualify, but you will get the Steele's fudge.
Free box of fudge.
At that, you come in there like you're Jim Irsay with like 40 grand in a satchel.
Yeah.
And you just happen to be carrying a massive amount of narcotics and enough weaponry there to supply ISIS with their next wave of terrorists. And the NFL looks at that and goes, "Oh, you're one of the owners." I tell you what, no preseason skybox for you, Jimmy.
Well, like I said, this contest is Beat the Leaper. The contest is going to go on your radio show every Friday, and that starts.
It's got to be like
starts next week, the 13th.
A week from Friday, yeah.
Yeah, the 13th, so 12th, Friday the 12th. Yeah,
a week from Friday. My God. It's upon us already.
And what is the actual premise? Now, you're going to take 4 or 5 callers that will challenge.
No, I think we're going to do this online. We're working on this thing. Maybe we can dig it up on Sports Stream Network also. We can do a video version of Beat the Leaper and have him come on to his picks on Friday.
Right.
And we'll figure out some way to get this online or through some kind of communication system here on Sports Stream Network. And we'll run the contest and make these guys eligible too. Why not?
Sure.
Right?
Sure. I think everybody should be eligible.
We're going to pick 2 games in the colleges, 2 games in the pros.
Right.
We're going to make 1 mandatory game, like 1 game that everybody picks, and in the colleges and the pros, and then the Leaper's going to come up with 1 game of his own.
Right.
All right. So now everybody's picking 2 games, the mandatory games, and then you come up with a couple of games, whatever it is.
3 other ones? Is that how it's going to be?
2
5?
other ones,
2
yeah.
others.
So
4 games in total.
4 games, so it could be a lot of dead heats, but we'll take ties and above.
Okay.
And anybody who either ties or beats the Leaper gets thrown into a hat for a drawing to win a $300
Which you will bring
prize.
out the random phone scrambler.
We may have to use a more legitimate method of determining who the winner is.
But I love the random phone scrambler. I mean,
yeah, that was a bizarre invention that came about through a guy that I used to work with. Always good when your engineer is known as MacGyver.
Yes.
Because, we experienced some of this with Sports Stream Network in its infant stages, right? Imagine when we have a full-blown production facility.
Yes.
Where we're not rolling into the back bedroom
Well, I
of
would
some
like
guy's
to have,
rental home.
I'd like to speak to your good friend, the Paulie Man, and see if there's any chance.
Paulie Man has us already lined up at Dania Highlight.
Well, I would like to
Of course, he has to be on the show and get your share of the money.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I don't really care about that because my share has been, as you know, 0.0.
You got 3% of nothing right now. That's what they were saying on Ray Donovan. You got 3% of nothing.
I would like to do, in some type of, resemblance to the Jersey Shore, put the names on a wheel and spin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we
spin
can do
the
that.
wheel, with a little click, 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 and, that might be the way to go.
With the hundreds of thousands of entrants that will be, easily eclipsing any total a Leaper can reach, you got to figure the Leaper a good week is 1 and 3. No?
Well, there's going to be some grand prize at the end of the season, which is now being discussed, and we haven't come up with it yet what it's going to be. But each weekly winner, let's say we have 16 winners. Let's say the leaper goes 0 for 16, and somebody always beats the leaper every
Well, there
week.
will always be winners. There's
Those
no doubt,
16 people are going to be eligible for, I mean, you think they give away some good prizes.
You should be able to go 4-0 every week, no?
Well, I think everybody should destroy the leaper the way he's been picking.
No, he's horrendous. Our problem is not, it's the over-under on will he make it through the season.
Well, that's...
Not as a living, breathing human being. We're not even sure about that. I mean, the over-under is 9.5 weeks.
Yeah, no, he's not doing. I mean, if he has if he literally has to sleep in his car for the rest of the season, I mean, the good thing about down
he
here.
Sounded rested today. I think he's gone back into the house.
Well, this is good. This is good news. For the making through the season part of it.
Anyway. When your friends believe that their friends on Facebook are real, like you have 5,000 friends.
Yes.
And they really believe that those are their friends, like an imaginary friend.
Well, I actually have about 68 friends on Facebook, and none of them like me. So I mean,
well, that makes for an
there's
interesting
actually
page.
There's one guy on there that likes me.
So those are all people that actually know you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No.
So they are your real friends.
Yeah. No, they are. But I mean, why would they? I mean, why would they even hit the?
No, but this guy Leaper is so crazy. I mean, this is a guy you're going to be picking against people. The Leaper is so crazy that he actually says, "Oh, I can't believe this, man. Brad Pitt is standing me up for lunch."
Yeah.
Because Pitt supposedly sent him some personal message there that said, "I will not be meeting you, Larry."
Well, he walked into the casino,
and he believes it is Pitt.
No, he does believe it.
He thinks he's going to get a session with Angelina too.
He walked into the casino entrance of Gulfstream Park and said to one of these doormen that if Van Damme is looking for me, don't let him in. And I sat there and said, what?
That's an extreme level of dementia, right?
That guy is out of his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted sick, degenerate. I mean, the gambling is actually
he's
almost...
practicing kung fu moves in case Van Damme does show up.
This guy he's crazier than a bed bug. I mean, he's
all
out
those
of his
people
mind.
on Facebook are, though. Come on. I mean, you should be happy you only have 3 friends.
Well, I look at it...
Because who needs to know what somebody had for breakfast, whether or not they
No, I don't want to know
today.
any of that, but I want my...
Prayers for my sick grandmother. I mean, that's great, but I don't know. I'm not like a religious guy. Like I said, the last time I was in some religious establishment was
I don't know that your prayers are that good anyway. I mean,
it was a poker game at the temple, Beth Yam, or whatever it was, down there on Hallandale Beach Boulevard, and the rabbi was running a crooked game, so I got in on it.
I mean, when do you not want a guy? Like, I asked DeFo a couple times, I'd say, Def, pray for the 2 here. I need the 2.
No, that's legitimate, though.
But the 2 never shows up. Your prayers are worthless. I mean, I don't know who you're praying to.
If I was somebody on Facebook, I would
you
not
were
want
dying.
me praying for
right,
them.
Right,
that's true.
If I was dying on Facebook and I sent out,
If I put a light. Well, here's the thing. Like,
got the
says,
bad news.
Mom has cancer, and I really need your help. I'm absolutely desperate with emotional unrest and strain here, and we have no money, and the hospital won't even take her. She's still like laying on a slab in the waiting room. And then you click, I like that. Like 170 people say they like the fact that this woman is about to pass away, and yet you can't do crap about it. So how screwed up are the priorities there, right? They'll have like a zillion likes. Oh yeah, okay, your old lady's dying, huh?
Well, I mean, it wasn't as bad as Alan the Madman Lipton, another famed mental patient from the track, who the game has really.
Did he really go through the entire family inheritance in less than a year?
I don't know.
That's a disgrace. Remember Dancing Tom?
I just remember one time his mother
Millions he went through. Millions.
Yeah, Dancing Tommy, he's another one. I mean, see, you do know they're all coming to life.
He's dancing, and a great guy, too. He'd buy a couple of drinks.
Stacks of hundreds.
Drinks for everybody. He's greasing the bartenders.
I mean, he was throwing hundreds like a dealer at a blackjack table.
Sticks. Just giving them to everybody. And you're thinking, okay, this guy's a happy-go-lucky guy, and it's great.
Busted.
Completely. I mean, you see him in like
Publix,
torn shoes and a tattered, top outside of Publix, yeah.
With a little tremor. He was shaking.
And he had no known diseases. He just had developed the shakes from being stunned. There's a guy that doesn't want to see that number at the end. He's going to die with his mouth open.
Well, he did. I mean, he squandered a real estate fortune or something ridiculous. So, yeah.
Dancing Tom. At least he was happy at the time.
He did have the moves, though. I got to give him that. He had some good moves when he was dancing.
He'd be shuffling. He'd have $100 cold exacted. It paid $46. You're thinking, that's brilliance.
Brilliant.
That's the type of stuff of which legends are made.
He had guys running his bets.
How did he lose it all? Well, we know why, right?
Well, because you know how he was picking his numbers. He was opening up the dollar bill, and whatever the first two numbers were, that's what he boxed.
That was great. Yeah, no, I mean, talk about arbitrary selection. That was a brilliant handicap in theory for a while until he managed to lose a complete fortune.
Yes.
Right. What is that? How do you turn? How do you make a small fortune? Start with a large fortune and bet the ponies. And he ended up with nothing. So, no, that was pretty wild stuff. All right, what do you say we take a brief time out here? We'll come back in a couple of moments. I see you did some good with this lady.
Well, I don't know.
What did you hang up there? I'm a little concerned about that. A Confederate flag? I mean, is that all you could get over there at that suit shop you were at the other day?
I did hang up. Actually, the suit was that big that it covered the entire window.
We got better lighting on the show, but we might get shot when we walk outside the house.
Listen, I just felt bad for the people out there that the sun was always just shining right into into their eyes. I mean, so I wanted to kind of lighten it up, make it a little bit more, a romance, thing here that they can, really get involved with our show and at least, see how ugly we actually look, I
tell you, we shine on this break here because I wanted to find out from you. If you've ever, just been totally sabotaged in a job. Any job, any time in your life, whether you were parking cars as a valet guy, you were generally the guy that nobody really had an in for.
No.
But this RG3 thing is hysterical to me, what's happened over there with the Washington Redskins.
Well, maybe he's really not the best. Maybe Kirk Cousins, no relation to the air conditioning guy.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins. You're not bringing a guy named Kirk Cousins onto the field and doing any good in the National Football League, are you?
Hey,
any of those guys like Colt McCoy with those, Texas quarterback
How about Tyrod?
Names. Tyrod Taylor, with the Buffalo
Tyrod.
Bills.
I mean, now there's a name.
How desperate, though, is Rex Ryan? I mean,
his father
what did this guy ever do?
Well, his dad must have been in the seawall business because a tie rod is actually a steel rod that holds a seawall up.
Nobody would know that except like you and
the fact
three other guys.
Well, maybe Rex has a seawall, and sometimes maybe the tie rods were damaged. So I don't know. But
Rex moved to like Nashville or something. He's really lost his mind. Or Memphis.
This kid is great.
You like him? I haven't seen him. You know what? I can't really say that I would have any opinion one way or the other.
Listen, I was a big Rex Ryan fan. I'm still pissed at the Jets for letting him go, and I'm rooting for the guy. I hope he has a big year. I hope Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl this year.
He hates the Jets, though. Rex, just
because of management.
And he has mixed emotion because you could tell this really ripped a part of his heart out.
I don't think he hated the Jets, the players, the team. He loved those guys. It was management that he had the problem.
But he maintains very seriously that they tried to sabotage him.
They did.
And if you think about it, I mean, what an embarrassment. You're in the New Jersey, New York market. You're calling yourself the New York Jets.
This guy could have been a 25-year coach of the Jets. I mean, he could have been that lovable.
He would have been great for him, too.
He would have been that kind of guy.
Who's getting attention now? Buffalo. Who would know that Tyrod Taylor was the starting quarterback for the Bills if Rex Ryan wasn't the coach of that team?
Hey, listen,
you think if Mike Shanahan names Tyrod Taylor is coach, and he's coaching the Buffalo Bills on his way out the door, right out of the NFL.
Right.
He's riding right in, and his next stop is to see if Marv Levy's still alive, like take his pulse as he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Anybody cares? No, it's only because Rex did it.
And you and I are not the kind of guys. We're not these politically correct kind of guys. And I'm kind of fed up with all the politically correct stuff.
You can't say anything
Rex
anymore.
Rex says whatever he wants. He's my kind of guy. That's what I really liked about Rex Ryan. I think he's going to be a perfect fit in Buffalo. I think Rex could end up being coach somewhere where they take a guy in. They're going to love this guy. The people are going to.
They already do, man. He's already a folk hero there in Buffalo. They forgot about Marv Levy already.
Yeah.
He's doing a tremendous job of being the so-called face of the franchise. Had a good piece on him on HBO Real Sports, a pretty revealing interview where he actually couldn't talk about leaving the Jets. He had to get up and walk off the set.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave. I mean, he's a player's guy, I mean, the players will rally around this guy, and I expect decent things from Buffalo. I think a lot of the pieces were right there. They don't have the toughest schedule. I think they're going to do well. Let's take a quick break, do that thing, and we'll be right back.
You got business. All right, we'll come back in a few minutes.
I paid the guy. I paid yesterday. I paid up. Don't worry, I'm okay.
The Catwoman is going to for you. She's going to send Vito.
Oh, she needs the money for that other pool.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to take care of that.
All right, we'll come back in a moment here, and we'll talk some more about sabotage on the job.
And sabotage on the
network.com.
On the network,
yes. So what'd you do? You hung a Confederate flag here?
No, it's just some filter timer. And you're still on the air there.
Very nice. Oh, this stain.
Hey, what's up? I think that's a different game. Is it Frankie or what?
All right, coming back here, people. Coming back to the show. And ready to go here on SportsStreamNetwork.com. You're upset. You're irritated. I mean, what is up with people pressuring? You're a fairly square-up guy. I mean, there have been a few occasions where maybe the money seemed to come in a bit of a retarded pattern, but on various loanage.
It happens to everybody. What are you going to do?
But you were going through a rough time at the time. Now you're rolling. I mean, when was the last time you lost money in any event? You put $5 in a slot machine, it comes back 5,000.
That's not true.
You put
That's
$20 into a pick six pull, it comes back 8 times. It's just that's a great thing. I mean, maybe this is the year of your life. Did you ever think about that?
Maybe the year of the end of my life too. Did you ever think about that?
Maybe you're already dead, and this is heaven. And there's no simulcasting.
I'll tell you what, I've often thought that, walking through this.
Very religious show today, a lot of religious
Walking
themes.
through this world, I mean, I've actually sometimes thought this was heaven, but,
But you're being pressured, and I feel this
I'm
also.
being pressured by Catwoman. I mean, a woman.
And the Polyman today is asking me if I want to get in some cockamamie pool where.
It's about a pool, and she needs the $112 or the $130. It's like she's driving me nuts. I bought cakes off of this woman.
What was great about this whole thing is that her calling back again?
Yeah, it probably is. I don't know. Let's
take the call in the air if it is.
Hello?
Yeah. Catwoman?
Another spot right now.
You better, Kat, you better put up the money. I'm not putting up the money.
I can't put it up. I already had to put up money.
Well, what are you doing running a pool like this? You're a mad woman.
No, what do you mean? Every person that I
You gotta
come
get
up
her
to
arrested.
get their money
I mean,
from,
I think this is illegal.
Nobody knows.
We gotta do one of these things like we're in court when OJ was.
Kat,
being
you're
sentenced.
live on the air right now. We're putting this out to millions of viewers around that you're running this illegal pool.
I am?
I would hang up the phone right now,
Kat,
Kat, if I were you.
Did you know that you pay me the money and then I just give prizes back?
Yeah, you give prizes back. What is this, like some fake...
That's it, yeah. This is for entertainment purposes only.
I'll tell DeFo I said
Yeah.
hello.
Oh, yeah. Defo, she said hello.
Our entire audience on SportsStream now knows about this pool and that Kyle's a
You're
deadbeat.
going to have a lot of takers.
A deadbeat. He's been winning money hand over fist, and he still hasn't paid you.
You hear the whole
That's
conversation.
right.
Tremendous.
Just taking that money that you offered to
just
me.
answered
No,
that.
This is it.
this is from my Thursday. We're
This
picking
is the
teams.
pressure.
Listen, I gave your money to Mustang. She's got it tucked away in her bra strap, so that's where it is. If you,
Does?
yes.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to go in there and
Come on by, yeah.
Goodbye, Kat.
All right, Ken.
Bye.
We love you.
Oh my.
This is it. Pool pressure.
Do you imagine? She's called me on the air. She
This
wants
is for what? $1.70. It's $10 a week.
I don't know.
All paid in advance.
I just gave the Mustang 2 sticks. She could go out.
Two
and
sticks? All
yeah,
right, good.
so go
So
have a hamburger
$30
later.
gratuity
on
for,
me. For please.
shipping and handling.
Ay, ay, ay. She
Handling the
didn't
Catwoman psychotically coming over here going.
She's
He
insane.
didn't leave the money, did he?
You heard her, right? She's
But you know
insane.
we're going to tell her that you didn't make the money.
Well, that's all right. Tell her
And
that. I
yet
don't
she'll be
care.
calling you for the next 10 weeks.
No, she's out of her mind
These
over
pool
this.
people are crazy, though, aren't they? The
Yeah.
Polyman wanted me to go in 2 pools, one of which I have absolutely no interest in being in, and the other one I have absolutely no interest in being in. It's like, okay, put you down. You're good for the 300, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, I don't wanna
I
do
can't
it.
win enough money to justify making this stupid wager. It's impossible to win.
I don't even know what this pool is that I just
It's
bought
like
into.
a 33-point pool or something.
And some team
You
that
get assigned a
randomly
team every
get-
week, I think. I
the
don't
same
know.
team for the whole season.
Oh, you get the same team the whole year?
Let's say you get a team that has no offense.
Right.
That the only chance they got of scoring 33 points is if the other team fumbles in their own end zone 5 times.
With apologies to Church Stream Network and all the good people there, you're fucked.
You basically are. And this is the kind of team I know.
But
I'm
that was
gonna
great.
get.
I mean, we were just talking about how goofy it is that people pressure you like this.
To
And the
get the
woman is
money-
on the phone while you're on your show, which she knows.
She doesn't
She
know
knows you
about
do
my
this from
show,
11 to
but
12 every day. Are you kidding me? It's universal.
but it's great. I mean, at least we could let the audience see what goes on, what kind of lives this
It
is.
was psychotic. I mean, right before I came on, we were a couple of minutes late. I was on the phone with another guy going, remember that thing, you pick 5 games a week against the spread?
You don't
Well, we're
have
going on our own.
You know, I don't have time for this stuff. You know, I really don't. I don't want to
Why
be
do they always
bothered.
start a Maverick pool, too? No, really, it's always some. Well, no, never mind those guys that you got paid by last year. We got our own pool.
Yeah,
going
this
year.
is a special one.
Yeah, special. It's only
Yeah.
going to be 9 guys. Don't worry about it. You got a great chance to win.
You give us $400 at the beginning of the season, and by the end of the season, you'll never see us again.
I would really rather send the money to that attorney in Nigeria that has my eccentric uncle's money locked up.
The one
in
that
some
sent you the
bank
letter
account.
in like a brown
Yeah,
paper bag.
I would rather ship off 10 dimes there than the 300 they're asking me for.
Please forward your information to your bank account and to several other important
help you.
social security numbers. We have large amounts of cash that we're going to send to you, but just send it. Yeah, right. And
You know, it's amazing. This is the 8th or 9th eccentric rich uncle that died like in the Congo. That somehow mysteriously left us money that only one of these attorneys could find.
Yeah.
And they're the same guys that are advertising that if you have mesothelioma, they can also help you
Well, you know, and
in a class action suit. They have billions of dollars in secured
Do you
funds.
ever worry about these things, these alerts that you see, like when you watch a lot of, HRTV and
Yes.
TVG, and these alerts about the identity thieves that are out there
Yes.
stealing identities?
I'm seeing, please,
Yeah.
take mine.
Well, my guy, somebody stole mine and he gave it back. He just did. He said, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
I mean, he owed Visa, he owed everybody. He said, "I don't want this ID." And now, has anybody ever gotten their identity back by the guy who said, "Look, I took this. I really screwed up. Here you go."
No. I mean, imagine, it wouldn't be a pretty sight
No.
for somebody to become me and assume my identity. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean,
there's a lot of psychosis that goes along with it.
and a couple of ex-wives that still won't leave you alone. I
Oh
mean,
my God! Yeah, finally I get that one off my back. I
Oh,
think
you did?
I haven't heard from her for a long time, which is a comforting thought. Yeah. Now I'll get
Don't
the letter,
jinx.
the cease and desist.
Don't-
I hope it goes to jury. I hope it breaks the company. When,
I mean, she was like,
she
pressing
says you were speaking about me in a derogatory fashion.
Oh.
On SportsStreamNetwork.com.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Cease and desist. Yeah, she actually went ahead and called personally a radio station I had just gotten a job at. Fortunately, I'm still there like 5+ years later. But
Well, it was nice because the guy said your psychotic ex-wife just called today.
no, and actually the way he put it, and this was great. This was kind of a hard-ass program director that wasn't inclined to engage in comedy.
Probably had an ex-wife of his own.
And they were a little leery about me anyway, because there were certain things, in my past that might have suggested it was a bit of a checkered one.
Do you have any friends that don't have ex-wives? That's a big question.
I don't know anybody that does.
That does not have one.
Poll the people in this room. I'm assuming Jory has an ex-wife, or at least one.
Yes.
One? What do we got on ex-wives? One? You?
I'm a widower.
A widower. Okay.
but you do have an
Well,
ex-wife,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, 3 altogether. Okay, well, yeah.
He's a black
So he
widower.
whacked the last one. I
He's
mean-
a black widower is what he is. Don't
Somehow
marry
she
him.
met with a mysterious death
Yeah.
as the car went off the edge of a cliff, even though she'd never been to California before, and she hated the sun.
Right, yeah.
Right? And she
That's
decided
actually-
to
That's actually how it happens.
drive off a cliff in
Excellent.
Calabasas.
Well
or
done.
something.
Would you cut the brake line? I mean,
Yeah.
how'd you make it happen there? Slick?
No one ever found the car.
No, they never found the brake line. They never found anything. The guy's a professional.
What was that place? There was some restaurant in Deerfield I was hawking one time, and they had a mysterious fire.
Oh, I thought several guys
And then,
died.
Trying to be Jacks.
And then a shadowy figure was seen walking away in the distance who looked remotely like the owner. It was kind of like when OJ showed up with the...
Jacks.
That wasn't the place, but
Oh,
similar type of circumstances.
A mysterious
But you
fire.
know what was amazing? Whoever set this fire was just an absolute genius. Like
Genius.
A pyrotechnic monster, because only the restaurant burned, even though it was attached to several other,
The safe
establishments.
was fine.
Yeah, no other damage to any place beyond
Oh, it was in a
the actual
plaza.
restaurant itself.
It was in like a plaza with many businesses.
Many businesses attached, and none of them were harmed in
Only
any
the
way.
one right in the middle just went
Right
up.
there, from wall to wall, it went down in smoke.
Nice. It is genius. I mean, that's good.
And then what was the place? Where was everybody going that was running those gambling sites where they couldn't come back in the country? Was that Aruba? Where,
No, it wasn't
because that's
Aruba.
where the owner was last seen.
Oh. I thought it was Honduras.
A
So-
reasonable facsimile of the guy was seen in Aruba somewhere walking around playing golf.
Well, I speak about great hideaways. I told you about the cruise that I went on when I went with the lovely baby doll.
Oh, yeah, Honduras.
Yeah, she took me to Honduras on a 5-day, getaway on the ex-celebrity line, which is not a cheap ticket, but
Well, no, she just was a woman of some
She
guilt.
had- she had the
She could
money.
afford a jug of filter fish, if you know what I mean.
she had plenty of cash. Anyway, she takes me down there, and I'm walking through, what is like a little beachy kind of town where there's a lot of little dive shops and
Yeah.
and a little tiny little bars, and stuff, and a lot of Hondurans down there. But a large amount of Italian New Yorkers hanging out, hey, how
Yeah.
you, the one guy goes, "How you doing?" I ain't making out. I go, where am I? Like in
Hey, Tony,
Bensonhurst?
yeah.
How you doing? How you making out? I said, I'm making out fine. What the hell are you
This is
doing here?
Honduras.
Guy goes, don't worry about it. I'm not. I mean,
Nice, man.
Guy's hiding out in some little
It's all ex-mobsters. Huh?
little dive town in Honduras. So
Why not? I mean, why not?
I will not give away that name under questioning or any other form. I'm not giving away the
My-
name
my
of the
brother
town I
was,
happen to be in, but
My brother was living in Venezuela for a while, and he was amazed at how far a dollar could go. Like, if you had $8 on you, you could have bought the entire country.
yes.
It was incredible. I
You
mean,
bought
he-
the country a drink.
no, he loved it. I mean,
I would have to buy the whole country a drink on me.
I was talking to some sick degenerate at the track the other day, and he was saying that he now lives in Mexico,
Yes.
in the mountains somewhere, with hippies smoking pot all day, and
And comes to the track.
comes to the
once-
States once in a blue moon just to see what it was like before when he was
I
being
came down
tortured.
to bet the derby. I am the world's most interesting man. Meanwhile,
He
you
was
knew
like
the guy.
Julio Cesar Chavez
When
down
you knew
there,
the
man.
guy, like he was like,
Hey, Dave, can you lend me
Right,
a dollar?
yeah, he was like
Can I
rolling
borrow
a joint in the
$5?
corner trying to smoke it on the elevator
he was
with
one of
coffee.
those
Yeah.
guys. Now he's got a big white hat on.
Sombrero,
Hello, I am from the hills of Mexico. I am
veritable El Chapo. Man.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fernando.
we gotta go.
We're out of our mind.
No,
Yeah, I
it's
hope you had fun. We did. We always
We had a
do.
lot of fun. No, it was always a pleasure.
I'd like
be
to
with
send
you people.
special thanks out to our technical crew today who was able to hide the black screen in the back
I'm a little
there.
worried about what you put up there. Like
Stop the sunlight. It's a Mexican flag. It's not
two giant boobs on some
no,
naked
it's not.
lady that's hanging from my window.
You will get some complaints
This
from
is
the
Lighthouse
Pompano
Point,
police.
Florida. No, they don't mess around here, man. They're serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have like a leaf out of place in your driveway, and the cops come and go, "Hey, you gonna do something about this?"
About what? The Leafs?
The leaf, yeah. I mean, it's like we have ordinances against this here, and they slap the sticker right on your head.
I actually got to say a special thanks to the Lighthouse Point Police Department because I got pulled over yesterday, and the guy
Leaving the
gave-
show, no, you were mad. Weren't
No,
you?
no, not leaving this show. Actually, I was going to check a job in the afternoon, and the guy gave me
You
the.
do drive a little fast when you're loaded.
I wasn't even drinking, but the guy gave me the. You're okay. Go
You're
ahead.
Kyle Martinez.
He saw the.
Oh, he recognized you from the
He
show?
saw the Ray Coleman Marine
nice.
sticker on my shirt
And he
there.
figured
and he-
you'd bribed the cops a few times.
No,
so
he
let
said,
you-
"I know you guys. You did some work for a friend of mine, and blah blah blah." And then so I was let go, and
How much under the table cash is involved?
there was
in that
no
record?
cash. He was a little slapping, don't do it anymore. I said, "Okay," and I was out of there.
Meet me under the seawall.
So they're not the
Yeah.
kind of guys who are just looking to write
No,
tickets.
these are great guys, actually.
They give you a break.
I had a little problem in my garage door. The cops actually came and tried to solve it for us because they said, "Hey, listen, we want."
Louis can fix that. They like get a crowbar and
No,
start
they
yanking it
told us they would have somebody patrol extra during the evening just to make sure everything was cool.
to make sure some of your close
I
friends
said,
didn't
I
have
love
a
it here.
party.
Yeah, well, they figured, you'd find some cretin rolled up in the, Oriental carpet in there.
Well, you keep that outside
It's
refrigerator.
Asian carpet. You
nice.
can't even say Oriental rugs anymore.
Why not?
Yeah, political correctness.
The guy that sold me that week.
I
the
saw
other day,
this
that was
Asian
an
chick.
Oriental
I gotta
rug. The
finish
thing
with this, though.
disintegrated.
What is it with the Asian chicks when they're gambling and then the husband shows up and they're shoveling money on the roulette
Yes.
wheel? Like this woman is playing, in this case, $125 chips, and she's got every number covered with like pyramids to the sky.
Yes.
And then the husband comes over. Now, if it was me and I saw, my girlfriend or wife doing something like this with my capital, I put a piano wire right on her. She's gonna look like your guy Maury in the Goodfellas movie. And this guy comes over and goes,
Yes.
and it's all fine. She had to be losing her ass. I mean, like gargantuan sums of money. And they don't. What business were these people in?
I don't know.
Were they selling China White? What the hell was it?
I think
mean,
it's those 5-gallon buckets of fried rice that you got in Hialeah last week. I mean,
Right, I mean, how did they make this kind of cash that they can just sneer at sick
well, I
denominations of wagering? And then the baccarat is the worst, right? Because, that's happened to be a particular favorite of the Asian gambler.
yes.
And
The
they
Asian
stack
or
it
the Asian? Oh.
The Asian also. No, the Asian, they can't take that game. Because nobody can figure out who won.
Yeah.
What is that? Player? Bunko. And then the guy throws the cards in disgust, and you're like, what happened there? I don't even know. Stupidest game I've ever seen.
Oh, baccarat.
Bunko. Fuck. Why would I bet on myself, the player?
Yeah, no, I
Who
always
is the
lose.
player?
I
There's
always
like 11
lose.
guys at
it's
the
you.
table.
You're the player.
don't
That's
know.
the only game where it gives you the option, so you could really screw up twice.
I mean,
'cause
there's
you-
very few gambling endeavors that I haven't dabbled in, but that looks particularly sick. And you can't come in there with like, $100 bankroll.
No, you're out.
They're laughing at you.
Yeah.
Some machete will hit you right in the Don't screw up our game.
Oh man, this is crazy.
That was in New Orleans, yeah, baccarat. But it's you'll notice it's just a total influx of Asian gamblers, and they're either piling it up on the roulette wheel. That's always the women.
right.
The guys don't necessarily do that, but they're in there like they were in the World Series or something, Game 7, playing this baccarat game.
Yes.
Which I don't know. Have you ever played it?
No.
In
no.
your life?
No.
And then you could bet on the tie, which I'd be tempted to do, and that's like 8-1.
Well, who's the guy that just beat the casino? Was he playing baccarat? It was
That's
like
Phil Ivey.
Phil Ivey.
Yeah, baccarat. He saw something in the pattern of the cards that were made by some manufacturer that was being used in that casino, and he was able to read the cards essentially.
So he knew the card that was coming next.
I don't know if he knew everyone, but he knew enough about them to have a favorable outlook to the tune of like $10 million of casino capital.
Nice.
And what kind of case could a casino bring against a guy who figured out a way to rob them blind?
Yeah, it was their cards. It was
Right?
their
They had,
It's their
look how
game.
paranoid they are about the decks. You can't touch the cards, the cameras on.
Yeah.
They have every advantage over the player, including, as Ivy so aptly stipulated, girls with big tits serving free alcohol. In your face, and especially friendly is the way that he characterized it.
Yes, I mean, and that's really how casinos have done it through the years. I mean, they got that guy that owned the Eagles so drunk that he lost
Leonard
the whole
Toews,
team.
yeah. Still the greatest line ever at the end of a 60 Minutes episode.
Yes.
When the guy asked him, so if you had $1 million, would you do it all again after he lost everything? And he says, could you make it 2? All right, we'll leave you on that note. We'll do it again tomorrow, 11 o'clock, sportstreamnetwork.com. Jersey Kyle Martinez, did you get cat off your back?
Yeah,
that was
I
live. I mean, we're talking about how maddening
Talk
these
about
people are with their
Shakedown
pools.
Street. I mean, this is
like,
a,
Hey, where's my money? Where's my money? I want my money. I want my money.
I want to
I
see
don't-
Jimmy.
Can you imagine? But at least
And you got a call while you were on the air talking about this.
I wanted
From-
everyone to see what I got to put up with over a stupid pool. I think the most you can win in a pool is like $60. What is
Sure,
it?
he was, calling. He was on the phone with the legal department as we were airing this phone call to the
Oh,
millions
listen,
of viewers
everything
out
that
there.
I do has nothing to do with the network and is not. What's the disclaimer?
Disclaimer, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all on
We'd
my
sooner
own.
see you die than employ you.
Yeah, no, I am
That's the
not. I
company's
am not
position.
an employee of this company, and whatever I say and
You're
do.
a complete asshole, and anything you say has nothing to do with anything
And
we believe in.
those are my opinions, and not the opinions of the Sports Stream Network or any other affiliates like Church Stream and Musician Stream.
We would just as soon see the guy cut his vocal cords out as sponsor and endorse anything he said on the show.
The only connection I have with anybody on this entire network and show is Steele's Fudge, located on the
Which,
boardwalk
by
in
the way,
Atlantic
I
City.
want a piece. We're coming after you.
He got none. I gotta
Nothing.
swear, it's gone. We ate it all within 24
It's okay,
hours.
I don't
was
need
a
it right now, as you
Peanut
can
brittle
see.
coming out of my ears. I was shoving that stuff. I mean,
The
so
saltwater taffy, they make that too? No?
I lost a couple fillings with
How
that.
come they only have the green left?
That's all that was left when
Yeah.
I got done with it.
It's always a green. That's
They're
it.
not the best.
Yeah,
you know?
nobody wants it, right? The mint or whatever that is.
If you had your choice, I mean, maybe they could discontinue the green for next summer. Maybe we'll just. But there are people probably that like the green.
Please, people that make saltwater taffy in New Jersey, no more greens. No more. No mas. I will see you tomorrow at
See you tomorrow.
11 o'clock here on SportsStreamNetwork.com.